Silence! It's time! It's time! It's
time for another episode of the Drunk Dash Nerds podcast.
Can you dig it, sucker?
Grab a six-pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. Grab a six-pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. Grab a six-pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. Grab a six-pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. Sit back and get back and get back and get grab a six-pack, sit back and get back and get back and get grab a six-pack, sit back and get back and get back and get grab a six-pack, sit back and get back and get back and get grab a six-pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 358 of the Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. I'm your host, as always. I'm Tyler, and joining me with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Man, Tyler, I'll tell you what. It sucks being out of work, but this may be the biggest vacation I've had in the past 10 years.
Yeah.
I kid you not. Well, it may be a little bit of exaggeration, the 10 years part, but what I'm saying is I'm actually feeling relatively well. I feel kind of a little bit more relaxed. I mean, given the circumcises... Not circumcises. I can tell I'm really relaxed, man. My mind's in the gutter. But
Giving the circumcises. That's the title of the podcast.
Given the circumstances of everything, you know, I know life kind of sucks for a lot of people because of the whole pandemic stuff, the whole my Sharona stuff. But honestly, I've kind of been looking more deep inside of myself in terms of trying to rework a bunch of things. And I've just been using a bunch of the time just to go through some backlog of stuff. Like, I've been going through a lot of the stuff that I used to watch growing up, and I've just been, like, keeping tabs of, okay, what are some good shows I can go through and invest into? What are some, like I don't know, maybe some new routines I could start, you know? And I've just been making a bunch of trips to, like, say, Walmart and, like, go through and get some for getting the essential stuff on top of getting my coffee. But, man, I'll tell you what. The gaming forefront's been really wild for me. So it's like, I know that Animal Crossing New Horizons has taken up a bunch of my time. And so it's like I've been spending a lot of time on that. I still have Persona 5 Royal still inside of its box. And quite honestly, I'm still planning on maybe picking up Final Fantasy VII Remake tomorrow, give or take, if I can get like a good physical copy without everything else being all like, you know, shoulder to shoulder and everything, because I know exactly how a lot of these otakus are going to go. They're going to go through, they're going to wait in Walmart, like around maybe 7 o'clock or something like that, because that's the time when my Walmart opens in my area. And so, yeah, I'm just going to try to pick up that game early morning if I can, get my coffee, maybe take a walk or whatsoever, and then I'm just going to go through and, like, maybe enjoy myself with that in regards. Because quite honestly, I mean, it's pretty much what I'm just doing nowadays. I mean, I'm still waiting for the whole stimulus thing as well as everyone else, and so I'll be making purchasing decisions in regards to stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much what's been going on with old Colonel Gables. Other than that, plus streaming dancing games, so it's like, how have you been doing, man?
I'm doing all right. You know, I was shocked by your DDR skills on Twitch lately.
The DDR skills.
Gables is fucking killing it. On there, Mario DDR on GameCube.
Oh God!
Remember, I bought that game.
Well, I
don't know why I hate DDR. I remember I bought it and I beat it like one night because the campaign's like 45 minutes.
Oh my God!
And I sent it back. But yeah. Anyways, other than that, I'm doing okay. You know, kind of like you, like you know, trying to make the best of a shitty situation. Like, you know, you're trying to make, you know, you found a positive and a pretty shitty negative, you know, and I think that's what all of us are trying to do right now.
Yep.
Is just trying to find the best situations. You know, it's been okay. You know, same old with me. Just been, Corey and I take the dogs for a walk every day. It was kind of been shitty. We had a few days where it was kind of cold and rainy outside, so we weren't able to. So that sucked because that's kind of like our one like trek every day. Like it's like spending a good hour or so just walking the dogs around. Gets us out of the house, gets them out of the house, wipes it, and then they're wiped out for pretty much the rest of the day. You know, just been same thing like you, just, you know, going through, knocking out some of the stuff on my backlog and just trying to find, watch a lot of movies, a lot of hits and misses though. That's for damn sure. We've watched a lot of shitty movies lately, but we've watched some good ones too. So that's been nice. Check out some TV shows. A lot of Courtney's big on like crime documentaries.
Oh.
So we've been watching a lot of those too.
Mystery stuff. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Her thing is though, she doesn't have the patience like I do.
Oh,
or like, I love a good like making the murderer type of show, and I love those kind of like those long drawn out like 8, 10, 12 episode things. And like she likes like forensic files where like the mystery solved in 30 minutes.
Oh.
So it's like I like the good 10, 12 hour documentary. She wants that. Like I want to know what's like. So we'll get like 3, 4 episodes, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, did they kill the guy or not? Like, I'm just like, baby, just wait. It'll get better. Like I'm promising you, it's getting good. We watched Tiger King on Netflix the other day, or last week. That I hated that entire show. I'm just like, but I think that's the thing with everybody though is everybody hates that show because everybody in that show is fucking awful. Nunu really wants to drink out the toilet. Sorry about that, but everybody in that show is just awful, and it's just like I want to stop watching this, but then like the last like 5 minutes of episode, you're like, oh my god, I gotta know what else is gonna like. They perfectly made this show where like the last like 10 minutes, you're just like, I can't not watch this next episode right now. Like we watched that entire show over the course of like 24 hours. Like it was like back-to-back nights we watched that show.
Might as well, right?
It's really like, yeah, they're like, we had nothing else better to do, and it's like 8 hours. Like I think there's 8 episodes, so like probably about 6 hours of content overall. So
oh my god.
Yeah, but it was good. Other than that, doing okay. I almost had to go to the hospital and get stitches the other day. I'll be right back. I'm gonna let that fester because Nunu really wants to drink out the toilet, so I'll be right back. But yeah, so I almost had to go to the hospital the other night. I came home from work Sunday night and went and took a shower, and I slipped. I always slip in, like I've never slipped in showers before. Like I almost never. I shouldn't say I never have, but like in some reason at this apartment in the shower, like I don't know what it is, like what it's made out of, but it's like goddamn like KY jelly in there when it gets wet. And like every time I'm in there, almost every time, like when I get out of the shower after I shower or I get in, I always slip a little bit, but I always catch myself, and like I always like half expect it, so I'm like always like ready. So it's not like a slip and fall, but it's like your feet glide a little bit, like you weren't expecting to, and you kind of get the moment, and like I do it all the time. So Sunday night, get in the shower, I get it into the water, my foot slips a little bit, like it's done 1,000 times, and my foot kind of like slipped up against like the little, like there's like the little hole cover on the drain. I don't know what you call it, but like it stung a little bit, but I'm like whatever. And I still look down, I saw a little bit of blood. And I'm like oh okay, whatever. I must have just got it pretty good or whatever, or just nicked it decently. And then I continue my shower and I look down, and like mind you, it doesn't hurt that bad like at all, like a little stinging or whatever. I look down and like about 20 seconds later, entire tub is just red. And I'm like, I call Courtney. I'm like, Courtney, and she like comes in. She's like immediately starts bawling her eyes out, just like,
oh my god.
She's like, oh my god. She starts crying. She's like, what happened? I'm like, I think I cut myself on the bottom of my foot. So like, and I just got in the shower, and I'm like, all I want to do is like, you got that stink of the day on you, and I just want to take a shower. I always take a shower after I get from work. It's always been my thing.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like I have to. Like I don't feel like comfortable. Like I don't feel like I can sit down or anything until I take a shower.
Right.
So I'm just gonna finish the shower, and like we're gonna get out, and like you're gonna help me clean it up and all that. Like so we found some like wrap, and we wrapped it. Like it was bleeding for a good long while there, and I was trying to get it to stop bleeding. Finally, we just like stuck some paper towels up against it and wrapped it, and it wasn't hurting or anything like that. It was fine, and I went to sleep. Took a couple sleep pills, fell asleep like I always do. Woke up and it was like throbbing like a motherfucker.
Oh god.
Like, god damn, it hurts. But it wasn't like unbearable, but it was just like that. It was like enough of a throbbing pain to like I couldn't get comfortable and I couldn't sleep. And I was just like, so I went out and like on the couch and I just started watching WrestleMania because I got like an idiot. I just fast forward to like the shit I care about. So I was starting laying that, and like, that kind of helped keep my mind off shit. And then like I took the wrap off and stuff like I've had on for like maybe 8-9 hours at this point, and it's still dripping blood.
Oh
and
my
I'm just
god.
like, and like the paper towels I put on there like was like all like soaked up, like soaked through, and it dried up. Like luckily I didn't get on anything. But she's like, you need to go to the hospital. I'm like, I'm not fucking going to the goddamn hospital. Like I'm not like I don't want to go to the hospital. Like I don't want to go to the doctor. Period. Like no one wants to go to the doctor. Especially I don't want to go to the hospital or anywhere near that shit right now.
I know, right?
So I'm just like, I'm just gonna like put on like keep wrapping it and put some Neosporin. Luckily we have all that shit here. So yeah, that was that happened Sunday night. Today's Thursday. So I was like, today was like the first time I was able to like put shoes on, and like it doesn't hurt like to walk around on it. I found a good way to walk on it. It's just in a really bad spot, like more than anything. Like it's just like right on the bottom of my pinky toe. So like when I put all my fucking weight down, like when I walk. So it's just in a bad spot where like it's hard to walk on. So today was the first time I was able to put like shoes on and then not be like a really like annoying like pain.
Right.
So yeah, that was and like I was talking like to my mom, and she was like, she told her dad about it. He's like, I think he needs to go to the doctor and get stitches. I'm like I'm not going. I don't want to go. Like I don't want to be there. Like that's the last place I want to be right now. So yeah, that's my fun little thing for the week is that is like, and like telling people like what happened. It's like, yeah, I slept in the shower. It's like I was like, man, should I like make something up? But it's like it's a cut in the bottom of my pinky toe. It's like there's no cool story. Like I got a bar fight, but the bars are closed. That won't make any sense. Like I don't fucking know. So I just tell the truth.
Well, you could just tell them you just like you did a Brian Greasy or something like that and just stripped over your dog.
That's true. There we go. There, yeah. Damn, that's way better. I should have just done that. Yeah. Man. So that's been my week. Nothing else too exciting going on. Doing a lot of gaming though. So I guess we'll just jump right on into what we've been playing.
All right, man.
Is it cool if I go first?
Yeah, man, go first.
All right, cool. So real fast. I finished Doom Eternal.
Awesome.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about like the last like 8-9 months of this like of me in gaming, but I'm always like really good about like doing a deep dive into a game and then being like 45 minutes away from finishing it, and then like like after we finished the podcast or the day after I beat the game.
Yeah. Like
I've done that with like 5 games. I did it with like Gears, Control, Link's Awakening, and now Doom, and there's a couple other ones I was thinking about it the other day, and I'm like, what is it with me beating the game the day after we record? So same with news, something big drops, it seems like every time, like the day after we record. So I'm expecting tonight's Thursday, so I'm expecting some big news to drop on Friday. Yeah, so I beat the game. I was like only like 2 missions left when I finished it. My opinions are still the same. I don't want to drive because I spent a good chunk of the last 2 weeks talking about it. But it's still the same as last week. I loved it. One of the best games I've ever played. One complaint is like the last third of it could have been condensed down, much like the first game, where it's like, but those last few levels, I'm just like, I'm ready for this game to be over. And I did not like the last boss that much. It was pretty disappointing, I'll say that. Like the game is fantastic. It's probably going to be one of the best games of the generation when we look back at this. Probably one of the best games of the year, considering the fact everything's getting fucking delayed.
Oh, yeah, I know.
It might be our only game on our game of the year list. That's of Animal Crossing. Yeah, no, it was really great. Loved it a lot. I just have like it's just like my grapes I have are very minor. Overall, one of the best games I've ever played. But like I mentioned earlier, I've been going through my backlog. I beat Resident Evil 2.
Awesome.
Yeah, I beat Leon's campaign. I mentioned it last week. I re-downloaded a bunch of stuff. I was like, I'm never gonna get through these games, and now I'm just like looking at like nothing's really coming out. So I'm just like, well, stuck at I'm at home more than I usually am. So I'm gonna start playing some games. So re-download Resident Evil 2. Really glad I went back to playing this game. I just started over. I just did a clean slate. Because like I mentioned last week about how I only I put like 2 hours into it and I just fell off of it, or things got in the way, and then by the time I went back to it, it's like I need to restart the game. At that point, I had a backlog of enough games to play that I'd rather would have played, that I went back to those and just never got back into it. So finally went back to it. Really enjoyed it. I only played Leon's campaign. I went and looked into, because there's like Leon's campaign, there's Claire's campaign, and I looked into it, and it's just like the main thing is like, yeah, it's like it's a lot of Claire's campaign is like you're going through the same areas over again, fighting a lot of the same enemies just from her perspective. So I feel like my opinions would be the same regardless of which one I played first. I played Leon's. I'm not gonna play Claire's. I just don't have the interest in going back and playing it. It's pretty short. I beat it in like 6 hours. Actually, just under. It was 5 hours 55 minutes to be exact. Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Like my main frustration with the game is like the inventory slots. Like, but I know that's a staple of pretty much most horror genre games, but especially like Resident Evil, like the ones that started this whole thing, where like you only got so many slots. But like I felt like a good chunk of this game was like backtracking to like item boxes, because you can store items in there, and like fuck, like there's gunpowder here, and I need more ammo, but I'm like my inventory's full, so like I'll run back and like drop off shit I don't need and go in, and like I'll grab that, and then like I'll go to the section like, oh fuck, I need the item I just put in the item box. I gotta run back to the thing. Look, there's a decent amount of item boxes around and save points around, so like you don't like the app auto save, so you don't need to use the typewriters, but like the item boxes, like I've learned the map pretty well, because it's not a very big space, that like it wasn't too big of a hassle to like go back and forth between spots, but it was enough. Like I probably spent a good hour of that time, maybe a little bit more, so I'd probably say 15 to 25% of my gameplay session was running back and forth between item boxes, because I kept putting shit away. I'm like, I don't need this right now, and then I'm like, oh fuck, I need that item. So but like that's like my main complaint. Like overall, like I really enjoyed it. Like I always felt like I did a really good job of like finding all the items and areas I could get, and like I always had like a decent amount of ammo, especially handgun ammo. So like I never like I was always like getting close to like I'd get down to like 20 bullets and stuff like that, and I'm like, ooh, I need to start being a little more conservative. But I always felt like I was constantly like getting enough to like it balanced out pretty well. Like the one thing I really loved about this game though was for the most part was the Mr. X, the tyrant. Like I knew when he was coming, and I got to that point, and it's just like, you know, obviously it's been out there for like when it first came out, like that was a big thing everybody talked about, and but it was still like knowing everything about it. It was still fucking like you can hear him coming. You're just like, I was getting chills like up my spine. Like I was getting like my like anxiety was peaking.
Oh,
like,
dude, that's my same response when the first time I encountered a liquor.
Yeah, same thing. Like liquors, I eventually I got pretty good about. You know, a couple shotgun blasts and they were dead. But I mean, they could still fuck me up pretty good, especially if there was two of them in a room. But yeah, every time I saw the tyrant, man, I was just like, I heard him coming. I'm just like, fuck. And like, it get frustrating at certain points when like you're trying to solve this puzzle. Like you know how to like I knew what I needed to do for this puzzle, but I just needed to do it. But then he'd fucking show up in the room, and then I gotta like shoot him, or I gotta run away and hide, and then like loop back around and try to solve it really fast. Like there was like one puzzle that I was like, I spent probably a good 20-25 minutes. I knew what I needed to do. Like, it wasn't really a puzzle. I just needed to move these. It was in the library. You had to move these shelves together so you can like use it as a floor to walk over to walk over like a bridge to this door. And I was just like, it took me a good 25 minutes to do this like 30-second task.
Wow.
Because I would shoot him, run away, and then like I'd get back in the room, I'd move one platform, and he'd come back. I'm like, fuck. So it was just like that. It got a little frustrating at that point, but like overall, like. I really, really, really like this game. Like I wish I could have like, you know, played it more at the time, because it's like it'd be nice to like be a little more involved in the conversation at the time, and like, it'd be decent in a decent spot looking at my game of the year list for last year. Like I'd like almost like want to go back and look at it, figure out where it'd be, but it would be probably in the middle or upper echelons of my game of the year list last year, but. No, that game was a fucking blast. I actually liked it so much. I didn't realize this, but I had a GameStop like credit, like not credit, but like you get points, you know, when you buy stuff for GameStop. And I had this $50 off coupon that was about to expire at the end of April. So I'm just like, oh fuck, I better use this. And I was like looking at what like you couldn't use it on pre-orders or anything like that. It had to be stuff that came out. So like on was it like Sunday or Monday? Like I was enjoying Resident Evil 2 so much at that point. I'm like, I want to play Resident Evil 3. So actually, when I had used that coupon I had and bought Resident Evil 3,
nice.
I was supposed to get it today because I had it mailed to me because our GameStops are closed now. But it's got delayed till tomorrow, which whatever, it's not a big deal. So yeah, I'm gonna be jumping into that hopefully sometime this weekend. Hopefully I get it tomorrow because I'll pick it up and be playing the shit ton of that probably after work. But yeah, I enjoyed that a lot. I played a couple other games. I'm gonna try to gloss over these quickly. Like I mentioned last week, I downloaded a couple other games. Days Gone was one of them. I tried playing that for like another hour and a half. Like I said, I played the first 3 hours or so on Extra Life, and I was like, I wasn't digging it. Like I was like, maybe it's just me. Like, you know, it's Extra Life. I was long into it. I was just wanting something different to play, and it wasn't clicking for me at that point. Maybe I go back into it, I'll enjoy it some more. I'm just not enjoying it anymore. It's just, and I was just like, I went and I read, like, is this game getting any better? Because just like ride a motorcycle around, and like I don't like the whole like having to like the inventory. Like it worked out in Resident Evil enough. Like I don't like the whole like carrying shit. You can only carry so much stuff. I hate all that and like inventory management stuff. I don't like that.
Oh yeah.
Resident Evil 2, like I said, it worked out enough. Like there's enough item boxes around. It wasn't a big hassle. But this, this being an open world game, like I was just like, I don't want to deal with all this shit. And like I know you can put stuff in your motorcycle, and it's just like I'm not really digging the characters. I'm not digging the world. I wasn't getting into it. I'm like, okay, yeah, it wasn't me. Like I could feel like this isn't a game like I would enjoy. Like and especially because I heard like the campaign is like 30 to 40 hours to beat. And I was like, if this game was like 10, 12 hours, maybe I'd stick with it, But I was just like, I'm not gonna want to play another 20, 30 hours of this game. So I'm just like, I'm done with this. And I went back and I played for like 3.5 hours yesterday. Fucking Death Stranding. And Gables.
What?
I'm ready to make this statement.
What?
And I've been thinking about this a lot. This is this generation's Resident Evil 6.
Oh no.
Yeah. I fucking hate this game. I was sitting there so I was playing I had my headphones on, and Courtney was like watching me play it for a little bit, and she was like she took a nap, and then she like just saw me like carrying the shit around, and she woke up and she's like, why are you always just carrying all this shit around your back? I'm like, this is the fucking game. Like, I can't help it. This game, I hate this game. Like, it's not a fun game to play. I went on this huge rant. She's just like looking at me like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I asked this question. Like, I just don't want to be here right now. Like, oh my God. It's so maddening, Gables. It's so, there's like, oh, fuck. Like, the Kojima in it breaks my heart. And I want to keep playing this.
Okay. Let's back this up for a minute.
Okay.
What was the point where you decided just to say, I've had enough?
Okay, so I memorized pretty much what was going on, like with the story. That makes sense. Or like I pretty much know what was happening from that point in that story, so it wasn't that issue. But my first mission, like you don't have guns, you don't have you have some grenades, but you don't have enemies to fight. There's some enemies you can fight, but you don't. They're not affected by the weapons that you have. It's a whole fucking thing. So my first mission I had to carry all this shit that was almost to the point of like my encumbrance, basically like, the amount of weight you can hold from one end of the map to the other end of the map. Okay. This is the final mission of chapter 2. And it tells you how long it took you to do it after every time you complete like an order or a delivery. And I just walked for 50 fucking minutes, Gables. 50 fucking minutes. I didn't do anything. And here's the frustrating part is like, cause you're carrying a shit, you can either, when I'm not kidding when I say it's constant when you walk. You start leaning, because if you go up the hill kind of like at an angle, you might lean too far to the right. So you got to hold the L2 button down for 3 seconds to get your balance back. And then you might turn too sharply. So you start falling over to your right. So you got to hold R2 too much. And then you overcompensate this. Now you're falling over to your left a little bit. And then you overcompensate too much. Now you're falling forward, and you fall over, you drop all the shit. Or you go into the water, because the only way to walk over the water, because they don't have any more fucking ladders, because I already used my ladders trying to cross the fucking water. So then you have to walk through the water, and then you're too deep in the water. So then all your shit that's on your back you start floating down the river, and then all your shit starts floating down the river, and then you gotta go down there and you gotta catch all the shit. And then while you're floating down the goddamn river, all the fucking shit is floating still. So you start grabbing some of it, but you miss the rest of it. It's still floating in the river. So you're trying to run down and catch it in the water. But then once again, you get taken by the current, and then you drop all the shit you had. Half the shit you already caught. So you gotta do the whole process over again. So then you're walking for half a goddamn mile trying to get your shit. You finally get your shit, and then you gotta walk. And then you gotta cross another goddamn river, do the same fucking thing over again. And then you gotta and then there's some stupid goddamn invisible BTs that you can't see because it's raining outside, because it's timefall. So then you gotta crawl really slowly, and there's a stupid little thing that tells you where they're at. But They're never really close enough to be really in danger because it's as long as you use some common goddamn sense, like you can avoid them fairly easily. So then you have to crawl and hold L2 and R2 so you can grip it. So you can never lose your balance as long as you hold L2 and R2 the entire fucking time for 50 fucking minutes. But you walk at a goddamn snail's pace, so you get frustrated and your fingers are cramping up because you're holding down the L2 R2 for 15 fucking straight goddamn minutes and you're going a quarter mile a goddamn hour. So you let go and then you fall over, drop all your shit, gotta pick it back up, and now it's damaged. So now you're gonna get less points because they're fucking damaged. So then you finally get through. Then you finally get through all the BT section where the goddamn. So now you can start walking normally, and then you get like a quarter mile down the goddamn road, and there's more goddamn BTs because it's fucking raining outside. And then you finally get there, and it's like, hey, cool, thanks. Here, take this boat, go over there, and then you're gonna do the same goddamn thing. And then there's, hey, I need this guy to team up with me, so take these deliveries to him, see if maybe he'll team up with you because I'm giving you some cool shit. He's like, I'll do that, but you got to do this for me. So I need you to take a delivery for me over here, and then bring me the shit back. It's just a whole goddamn thing, Gables. And then you finally get some cool goddamn exoskeletons that you can use to like, hey, it helps your balance out, so you don't have to sit there and hold L2 R2. And now I can run, and I don't have to worry about fucking doing the L2 R2 shit and holding down L2 R2 and like walking in a snail's pace. But the batteries only last 5 goddamn minutes, but it's 15 fucking minutes away to get to the next goddamn section where you can recharge your goddamn batteries. So hey, it's great for 5. So for like 5 minutes, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna actually beat this game. This game's fucking fantastic. And then oh no, and then I start getting attacked by these goddamn mule guys, and I have no goddamn way of defending myself, and they're faster than me. So then they're fucking hitting me, knocking shit off my back. So now I gotta run into a circle, grab my shit, keep running, and it's a whole goddamn. It's Gables is a whole goddamn thing.
Oh my god. While you were going through your epic rant right there, I was just envisioning just like a YouTube video or something like that by like a review site that said like either Angry Joe or like maybe like no punctuation or something like that or whatsoever.
Oh yeah, I know.
Like the escapist type of thing or something like that, where it's just like each and every little thing is like, well, I gotta get them a package, and all of a sudden I have to cross this river, and all of a sudden all my stuff falls in the river, and now they're floating down the river, and I gotta go chase after it. Oh wait a minute, now it's raining. All these BTs are coming everywhere.
Yeah. Like.
Oh my god. That is such a clusterfuck. That just sounds an absolute chore to do. Absolutely.
The story and the cutscenes I adore.
Okay.
Like I want all of that, and they're fantastic. Like it sucks me back in, and then I start playing the game, and I'm legitimately mad and angry and annoyed. I'm not having any fun. I even after a few more missions, I just like, oh, fuck it, I'm gonna put it on very easy. Maybe it'll make it better because like I don't want to do the gameplay. I'm playing for the story, and I'm just like, this is not any better. Like I was like, I'm hoping like they could just fix the balancing shit, but it doesn't. It just makes the enemies easier, which is so like I fought one enemy in the game. There's like a boss battle at the end of chapter 2, and I'm like, it was actually kind of cool. I enjoyed it. That's it. That's all. And then maybe it gets better later on. And I've heard there's stuff that like makes it better. And I looked up like. I'm like, okay, how far in this game I am? I know I'm in chapter 3, but like how many? But I looked it up. There's like 14 chapters, but I did the first 22 deliveries, and there's 70 deliveries in the full game to beat the full game, and like a lot of the chapters only have like 1 or 2 deliveries in them, so it's like they're probably like longer deliveries or they're like just short chapters or whatever, because each chapter deals like you learn the backstory of a character.
Okay.
And I was just like, maybe like I'm technically like a third of the way through the deliveries. Maybe it's not so bad. And then I started reading some more, and I'm like, oh, no. And I started playing some more, and I'm just like, I did a couple more deliveries. I'm just like, fuck this. And I'm just like, I'm not having. And then when Courtney woke up, and I didn't go on the rant like I did just there, but I went on a kind of rant. I was explaining to her Hideo Kojima and the Metal Gear stuff. I didn't go like super into it, like because she's not a gamer whatsoever. But I explained to him like, this is like my favorite developer of all time. He makes my favorite franchise of all time. And I was explaining like I literally had like my eyes were watering. Like that's how like passionate I was about, like upset about the fact that I could not, like I can't get into this game. And I think she looked at me like kind of crazy, and she's like I said, like she's like, I don't want to, like, what the fuck did I get myself into with this? But it was just
her eyes are just crossing as soon as you're explaining things to her.
Yeah, she's just like, oh, she's like, I'm sorry, baby, that sucks. I'm like, I know, I fucking know. You don't need to tell me that. I fucking know. But yeah, so yeah, that's I hope you guys got that. That's my feelings on Death Stranding. But yeah, that's what I've been playing. Gables, what about you?
Every time you explain Death Stranding, it makes me kind of want to try it out myself.
please don't, Gables.
Oh my god!
But no, my luck, you'll end up like loving it and like telling me, and like I'm just like, you motherfucker. Because it was like it was funny though. I was talking to Justin about it when it first came out, and he's just like, he said it's like one of his favorite games of the generation. And I'm just like, God damn it. And I hear people talk about like the story and all that. And I'm just like, fuck. Like I want that. I want to, like when those moments hit, I feel it in that story, and I want to feel those moments. It's like I don't want to just go on YouTube and watch those cutscenes, but it's like I don't want to play this fucking game. So yeah, I'm done. I'm done talking about Death Stranding.
Right,
go
right.
ahead, Gables.
Okay. So what I've been playing, I've just been going through more of Animal Crossing New Horizons. I am now 65 hours inside of the
Fucking
game.
Christ.
Dude, to put it in perspective of things, I got a little mark on one of my little cue cards inside of Animal Crossing New Horizons and stuff, where it's like they keep track of little things, little milestones you cross and stuff, and so those are basically sort of like their place for like in-game achievements and whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
So I get this little notification right on my little Nook phone. I look at it. It's like, well, this is like a recommendation. This is like a celebration of your 20th day here inside the Animal Crossing. I'm like, what? 20 days in a row? Seriously? And you want to know what's interesting? It's like throughout that time, I've done a whole bunch of things. I've built a bunch of different things. I've gone through and just created a bunch of custom designs and just did a little bit some things that are Zelda related, like the Triforce and like some of my other like random artwork that I'm doing, and got the Able sisters finally like inside of my town, and so I've been talking to a lot of them and stuff because I want to try to get to that point where I can make my own clothes for my character or like go through and just redecorate my island and stuff. And I gotta admit, man, this simulation game, which quintessentially Animal Crossing is, yeah, there is a end to this game. And basically, honestly, for those that probably already know or probably don't know, I mean, hell, if you play Animal Crossing and you're listening to this, yeah, if you don't want to be spoiled by the ending, then I would just tune out for maybe like the next minute. But, yeah, I haven't beaten the game yet, but I know the ending is basically you have to get you basically have to go accomplish like a whole bunch of things with the residential services and stuff, get all this other stuff done for Tom Nook. You have to have like 7 residents at a minimum. You got to get your town rating to about 3 or whatsoever, and then you have to find a place where you put the bandstand things. And the final thing of the game is basically you have to, set the stage and stuff for KK Slider in order to do this, in order to do that and stuff. I'll tell you what, I'm not even at that point yet. I've basically spent a lot of my time just like getting a bunch of fruit, getting a bunch of like creatures. I've been filling up that Critterpedia pretty like regularly. There's like 80 different bugs and fish. So bugs and fish are separate. So quintessentially I am over at least 30 fish, and I know I'm at least over 30 bugs, so I'm almost halfway there to completing the stuff. But no, I've been just basically trying to learn a bunch of little tidbits as I can in order to try to improve my time. And, doing things like finding the money tree spot for each day and stuff. So I just basically go through, take out about 10,000 bells, just put them inside there to start money trees growing. And last night I got excited because I actually went to a freaking island that was actually kind of rare, and I actually found some different fruit than what I didn't have for a change. So I basically got a whole bunch of cherries. I basically stole the trees off the island, and when I got back, I started just planting all the trees around my island. And it's hilarious because you can actually eat fruit, and you can actually use your shovel in order to pick up big things like trees or break rocks or other stuff. It limits you to about like 10 or something. It 10's the maximum. You could basically eat 10 pieces of fruit and you get to that point. But I basically did that, and honestly, it's just been a whole bunch of just random resource farming that I've been doing. Like I've been getting a bunch of wood. Been getting a bunch of grass, bunch of like the weed stuff. Been making a whole bunch of tools, which I gotta admit, man, it's like breaking these freaking tools. Even when you get to the extent to where they last a lot longer, or have the durability thing that's a lot longer than say like the flimsy axe or the bug net or whatsoever. Man, I am just amazed how much shit that I break. And I literally had. When I went to one of those, like, rare islands today, by going through that stupid, like, Dodo airline stuff, going to a random island because I had a Nook ticket, I broke 3 tools inside of one of the islands. I was just basically doing this. I was like, okay, let me use my shovel on this one. All of a sudden, I break my shovel. I'm like, well, fuck. Then I go through and I use the fishing rod. I catch one fish. It breaks. Oh, fuck. And then all of a sudden, I just go and I start using the axe, start like chopping down some bits of wood, just do some resources on this island. Oh, hey, there's a bunch of bamboo here. I don't have that. All of a sudden, the axe breaks. I'm like, oh, god damn it. And so I break like about 3 tools, just randomly. And that's just the thing. I would love to know how much durability I have inside of a tool before it breaks. If I would have known that, I would have either sold off the tool or crafted a new one before heading on the islands and stuff. So it's just like those little quibs that I have. The neighbors, the whole shopkeepers and everything else, they're all nice, they're all pleasant and stuff like that. I mean, Animal Crossing New Horizons has been fairly relaxing to me. I mean, I've played it more now than I have had, like, New Leaf on 3DS. And quite honestly, it's a better game than New Leaf in some retrospects. I would have loved if they had, like, random, like, Nintendo, like, items and stuff inside of the game as well. I mean, back in New Leaf, you had to use, like, play coins in order to kind of get one of them each day. So you got, like, random things that say, like, Hylian shields, like the Majora's Mask or something like that. Mm-hmm. But I haven't come across anything like that yet inside this game. And what kind of sucks is I don't have the flippers where I can go around, just start swimming and get to different places and whatsoever. But, I had to take some water right there. Mm-hmm. Oh, boy. Basically, it's at the point and stuff where I'm just kind of playing the game a little bit and stuff. Like, a little bit here and there. I usually play it, and I'm starting to just get, like, just starting to get into a steady groove of it. Maybe, like, I play, like, an hour a day or something like that, and I go on to something else. But, it's been consistent, and the biggest surprising thing, I looked at the time played, and I looked at all my games, and basically I have them, like, organized from the time that, how much I've played for each of them, so I know which points where some game time and stuff surpasses some things, like, for example, for the Super Nintendo app, I'd have maybe 4 hours max that I've played on it, and all of a sudden it's like, the biggest one, obviously, is Fire Emblem Three Houses. I have like 167 hours, and what's hilarious about it is, I've surpassed Breath of the Wild in terms of how much I played it.
Damn.
65 hours. 65 hours is what I played for Animal Crossing New Horizons, and I know I had over 60 for Breath of the Wild. So it's now in my top 5. It's actually now in my top 3 of Switch games most played.
Getting close to Fire Emblem. About halfway there.
Oh my god. I know, it's I got like an extra 100 hours, and I could still play, and I could probably still play more Fire Emblem Three Houses, considering I have the DLC that I haven't even, like, played yet.
There you
go. But anyway, the other game I have been playing, well, I did buy a whole bunch of games off the eShop. I've only played one of them a little bit, and that was, it was this racing game called, like, Outlanders. So, it caught my attention because I was watching a YouTube video, like, a while back, where this guy, Metal Jesus Rocks, he's a YouTuber that lives in Seattle area, and quintessentially, he's a huge collector. He used to work at Sierra, back when they still had their major, like, company making all the point-and-click adventure games and whatnot, but he had a video where he had some of the more underrated Switch games, and this was one of them. It was Outlanders was kind of looked like sort of like a Star Wars pod racer sort of game, where you could use a vehicle and stuff. You play a vehicle. You have your vehicles. There's like 4 different types, right? You have your standard balanced one. You have one that's more prone to speeding. You have one that's more prone to, like, say, a heavy type of vehicle. But you can upgrade certain things like, say, weapons, boosts, this and that. So I see on the eShop, it's for sale for like about $3. So I'm like, you know what? They were asking $25 for this game, and basically I went through, I paid $3 just to download it. And so I started playing it. I played it roughly for about a half an hour. And so, quite honestly, I start to notice a lot of technical hiccups right then from the beginning.
You can see why it's on sale for $3.
Well, yeah, I'm getting to that. And I can understand why they discounted the $3, right? Because, one, for the textured layouts and stuff, I mean, the gameplay itself is not bad. I mean, there's some bits of the graphics that look okay, but it has bad pop-in. And I mean, like, once you get loaded onto a track and stuff, you can see noticeable pop-in. Like, the textures start going through and they start popping back into place. Like, they start, like, something basic, like a polygonal sort of thing, and all of a sudden they start going to, like, an actual resolution or something like that, like a 720p sort of resolution or something. And, not just that, but after you get done with the race, sometimes there's, like, a little sound tearing sort of thing where it just goes, psst, like, right after you finish, like, when you finish like a race or whatsoever, or you finish up like battling a monster and stuff. So those are little technical hiccups I've noticed. It hasn't really like taken away from the gameplay or the enjoyment aspect of it. It would just kind of remind me, okay, this sort of has reminiscence of like say an early PS3 or a late PS2 game in terms of like some of the texture loading and pop designs. But the gameplay is still pretty fun. I did have a little bit of frustrations while I was going through and trying to understand when you were battling monsters. Get this. There are specific levels inside of this campaign, right, where you have to go through and battle monsters by like, like by racing other racers, try to kill the monster and whatsoever. That's when it ends. So literally I went through one of the missions. It took me like about 10 minutes, right, where like all of us were like racing each other and this and that. And when finally the monster dies and stuff, I like right in last place. So I'm like, well, why am I in last place? I had the most damage upon the freaking monster. Come to find out, you have to place in first place when the monster dies, essentially. Wow. And I'm thinking to myself, how the fuck am I going to balance that on top of shooting the monster, on top of being hit by other racers because they're using their weapons, on trying to get all that stuff gone? And that's basically what ended up happening. I got to last place because I kept getting hit randomly by different fucking racers on top of trying to try to kill this beast in the front lead. And so that little frustration, mind you, was like something I was like, maybe not so much. But I did end up going through and unlocking certain things for one of my pods that I was working on. Yeah, this game in of itself, I can understand why that they cut it down to like say $3. To be perfectly honest, I do not understand why they decided they wanted to charge $25 for this game, because this is not a game that you want to pay over $20 for. For a $3 game, for at the same time for what it definitely is a racing game that is comparable, but yet there are such things to say, I'm not too sure. I haven't noticed any rubber banding AI in that regards, but gameplay seems fun when you're racing other racers. The drift stuff you have to get used to because you have to literally press like the right trigger. Yeah, the ZR button, essentially.
Okay.
I'd look at my Pro controller for a minute.
I get that. I never understand which buttons which on the triggers.
Well, that's the thing. The ZR, you have to do that on top of like having the analog stick moved into like a direction, in order to do like a drift, actually get it right. And I'm thinking to myself, it's like, it would have been much easier if I held down the button and then go through and just ease into a drifting turn, because... And you don't do it with just like the left one. No, you have to do it with a right one. The right analog stick alongside of the right trigger, And it's like... It is kind of frustrating to that extent, because I understand what they were trying to get at with the control styles. Like, oh, hey, let's go ahead and use the right analog stick, like the right Joy-Con thing, in order to try to use it for like for drifting between turns, maybe a little bit sharper of radius, but and it didn't really work out like I thought it was. But at the same point and stuff, I think it's a decent game and stuff like that. But I still need to play a little bit more of it before I decide whether or not if I want to keep on playing it or not. And honestly, that's probably the most beautiful part about buying games on the eShop right now, where it's like, if you find certain games are like maybe a couple bucks, I mean, by all means, this is how you're going to go through and pick up a lot of decent games for like maybe dirt cheap. But yeah. I do have I think I have like 3 other games that I have to go through and maybe try. One of them being Frederick 3, which I want to play. Yes. But the last game that I have been playing is an old one that I have mentioned before on the show, and that's Dead by Daylight.
Oh, cool.
Dude, I'll tell you what, I've stopped playing Dead by Daylight on the PlayStation 4. And one of the reasons why is because the queue times, the wait times before loading into matches, especially during the times of the day that I want to play games, it's way too long. Case in point, earlier on last week, I timed exactly how long it took for me, it's in certain parts of the day, mind you, of that same day, in order to load into a match. So around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock my time, I go on and start playing Dead by Daylight. I get into them, I go through, click find match. It took me a couple minutes in order to find a group of 4 people, and so that was no problem. later on that night, like around 7 o'clock in the evening, I played 3 matches. First match, I waited about 6 minutes 45 seconds to get into a match. Second match I played 7 minutes and 12 seconds to get into my second match. And that's before I could go into like a lobby or terms of like that with other players, mind you. And the last one was 8 minutes 45 seconds to load inside of the last match that I was doing. Throughout that time, I wasted like about a good solid 22 to about 25 minutes just waiting inside of a lobby in order to get into a game in order to play.
Yeah.
And this is supposed to be during the peak hours and stuff like that when the game is supposed to be played. There's more people at home playing games. There are a lot of people that like playing Dead by Daylight. But on the PlayStation 4, it feels like it's just utterly kind of like... it feels like it's a ghost town in terms of like at night. There are people that play, but there's not enough. As opposed to, say, like going on to Steam. The very next day, I start playing the game on Steam. I'm instantly getting into matches in regards to maybe not even 20 seconds. Nice. And later on, like last night, it was a couple nights ago, I still waited like a couple minutes and stuff inside of the Steam lobby or something, but I was able to play a handful, like about 3 or 4 matches or something like that within the span of an hour. Instead of like, God, waiting an extra half an hour or something, wasting a lot of that stuff. But, no, basically the gameplay and stuff for Dead by Daylight is still reminiscent. It's still like pretty much the same. You know, the whole like 4v1 sort of concept, 4 survivors, 1 killer. No, what I have been doing is I've been playing this one character that I want to unlock his perk Iron Will. And so quintessentially, how the game works is like at a specific level point, you can unlock certain perks to be available inside the blood pool for like all killers that you play as or all survivors that you play as. Since I play predominantly as survivor because I play that because I don't want to play killer because killer is frustrating to play. For the survivor stuff, you are looking at increments of like 5 levels reminiscent. So basically, when you get to level 5, you unlock your second perk slot. At level 10, you unlock your third perk slot. 15 is like your last perk slot, pretty much. But when you get to level 30, that actually adds to the blood pool a perk that your character has that you can actually go through, use blood points to unlock for all of survivors. So quintessentially, to unlock these certain perks, you have to have a character at level 30, 35, and 40 respectively to get all of their perks and stuff inside of the blood pool of other like survivors or killers or whatsoever. So I only want to play as this one character that I'm playing as, Jake Park, because I want his perk Iron Will, which honestly it helps me out because whenever you get hit by the killer or something, whether you're injured or something, you don't make sound as like you don't make cries or other types of sounds as you're trying to escape from the killer. And so when that perk gets better, it'll eventually reduce your sound to like by 100%. And so you can basically go through and start running or whatsoever and stuff, but you won't make any noise. And so that's not going to tip off the killer, whether or not whether you're hiding somewhere or whether you know this or that. And I've been basically doing that, but I've also been checking out the whole Shrine of Secrets aspect of the game, where the game has this sort of place where you can actually buy certain things, like say cosmetics or something like that. You could buy skins, you could buy whatever, but I don't generally focus upon that. I more so try to look for the whole perks and stuff that I can use my blood, like some of my blood points and other skill points towards. And so there are a couple of perks that I actually bought, that I actually got using my in-game points to get, which were fairly good. And so I'm happy about that because I don't have to play one of the other characters, survivors that I have no interest in playing, just to get like these specific perks and stuff that I don't have to spend a whole time grinding and stuff. But the whole thing about Dead by Daylight right now is they are basically testing out a patch right now inside the Steam version, which is update 3.70. And so what this predominantly has to do is a huge update, Tyler. So basically this whole multiplayer game, are basically doing a lot of things that they have been wanting, that have been like talked about by fans or some for a long while, where they were reworking the size of maps. They're like reworking like different like window abuse things or infinite loops and stuff that survivors would do against killers, and like all sorts of other things, vice versa. They've went through and kind of like worked on generator like repair speed. And basically what I mean by that is like normally inside of a match, sometimes you'll have like maybe 2 or 3 survivors working on one generator, and that would be faster because you have 3 people at the same time. They would get the generator done maybe like not even less than like 30 seconds. I'm guessing, estimating off the top of my head. But in terms of having multiple people work on the generator, now it's just like, what, 8 seconds slower or something like that to complete with 2 people as opposed to just you by yourself. But no, it's just basically a bunch of map structures, reducing of sizes, like going through and trying to work on placements for like windows in order to try to escape from the killer or this or that. But the biggest one that I saw was controller sensitivity. So inside of Dead by Daylight on consoles, when you're using a controller, it kind of feels sometimes that your survivor or whoever you're moving is like, it feels kind of sluggish. Now, when I play the game on Steam, I don't have that much of a problem because I've used my Switch Pro controller for Steam, and I can move my characters pretty nice, pretty fluidly. I can actually evade killers when they're going through and swiping at me, which that's always good. But yeah, that was just one of those other types of stuff. But as far as games go, I mean, oh my god, just having just one survivor, I'm like a low-level survivor, having like one perk on, it isn't really too much different as opposed to like having like playing as a survivor and stuff and have all your perks, do this and do that. I am still coming across a lot of people, either survivor or killers, that are just basically randomly disconnecting, just rage quitting. I've had matches where a teammate of mine rage quits, and so it leaves us at odds, for like, one person down, obviously it's going to be more of an advantage for the killer, or less of an advantage if you play as the killer. But I've actually went through and I'm now escaping and building up a bunch of blood points and stuff like that pretty quickly in regards to what I'm doing. So I'm still having like fun matches and this and that and stuff. But other than that, though, as far as anything else I've been playing, I haven't really been playing anything else besides those 2 games, New Horizons and Dead by Daylight, maybe for a little bit. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
I'm very cool, man. Like, I'm glad you find something to stick to. Like, that's something I wish I had right now. Is like a good game I can go back to. Like, I've kind of like, I think I'm kind of somewhat burned out on Madden at this point. Actually, after I don't know, 1,500 hours of playing over the last few years.
Right.
Like, I do this every now and again, every like 5 years, so I get that burnout point where I'm like, I'm playing it just because I want to listen to podcasts more than I'm playing it because I enjoy the game. Like that's where I'm at with it. Is like I played it for like a little bit today, and I'm just like, I'm listening to this is because I want to listen to these podcasts, and it's like I don't want to just sit here and listen to podcasts. Like I want something like I like to do things while I'm listening to podcasts. So that's
right.
I think that's the reason I even played it. But like I was hoping like Predator Hunting Grounds would be that. And I played I forgot to mention this, but I did play they had like a little beta over the weekend. It's a little more of a demo, and I played like I don't know like 5-6 games. And I played, I want to say 2 as a Predator, and 3 or 4 as the one of the guys,
Yeah.
And it's the same like we mentioned before. You mentioned you actually reminded me of. I forgot this. It was that the Friday 13th guys made this game, and
Yep.
It's just not like I don't know, man. Like Friday 13th, the greatness of that game is just like it's jankiness. It's like it's fun playing with friends. First off, like it's not too much fun to play by yourself. Like, but it's just like the fun part about the game is it's different than a lot of other games that I personally played. I know like there's other games out there that I like it, like Dead by Daylight stuff like that. But it's like I think one thing we love about it is the fact that it's Friday the 13th, so that's awesome. It has that skin on it. But then it's just like it's different. Like this, it feels like any other third person shooter style, like generic mediocre shooter game. And it's like being a Predator is okay. It's not that fun. I'm sure if I got better at it, it'd be fun. But it's just like, I don't know. It's just like a lot of like, you're just like zooming around trying to find the guys and then trying to be sneaky and get them. And it's just like, I killed a couple guys and I died. Both matches I played as him, I died. I killed 2 guys in one game. The first game I died almost immediately. But I don't know. Playing as the one of the dudes, one of the army guys. It's just like, I don't know. It's just you have like a mission you have to like. It's not just like survive and escape. It's like get to the chopper is one of the things you can do to get to win. But you also have an objective you have to do, and it's just like I played it, and I'm just like I'm not feeling. I had it pre-ordered on PlayStation Network. I went ahead and just can't. It's only It's like $40 to get, but it's just like I'm just not. I know this is a game I'd probably play for like an hour, and then maybe play a few more times because I feel obligated to because I bought it, and I'm just like I'm not enjoying this. So I went ahead and canceled my pre-order, and now I have like $90 in my PSN wallet.
Nice.
And I'm just sitting there looking at Final Fantasy VII. And I'm just like, it's out. It's out now. Actually, we could play it now on PSN.
That's true.
It's 11 o'clock on Thursday, by the way.
But they released it early, so it's like.
Well, oh yeah, certain people, but like for physically, you can get it. Some countries got it early, but like here it's 11 o'clock my time, I should say, in Central Time, and that's usually when digital games come out. It's usually 11 o'clock Central Time, so I could play it now, and I'm just staring at it. I'm like, fuck, man. Kind of want to just get that game, but I'm like, I got RE3 coming, and I might pick it up. I'm not sure. But moving on to our news, almost an hour in. I want to mention this really fast. This was announced just maybe a little bit before we started recording. Extra Life, love doing it every year. We usually don't start mentioning it until like September or so, but I want to throw it out there. Extra Life United is going on right now. It's a big, like they usually do it every year in Orlando. Obviously, everything going on, it cancels. So they're doing it online this year. I've been watching a little bit here as I can on Twitch. But really cool event. They raise, they raise money. They get some cool celebs out there sometimes to play games with people. But they actually announced for the first time ever they have an official Extra Life merchandise store. So I've been wanting one of these forever. They had like a kind of one a few years ago, and I bought a couple shirts off there, and a couple of like stickers and stuff like that. But they didn't really have like an official one. So now I have one. I just want to mention it. It's merch.extra-life.org. There's some cool stuff on it. I wish there was a little bit more, but there is some. I'm gonna spend some money on here when I get paid on Friday. That's for fucking sure. Because there's a coffee mug. There's a couple T-shirts. They even have pajama pants. I love me some pajama pants. I'm wearing pajama pants right now, especially with all the shit going on right now. I almost rarely never wear pants anymore. It's just PJs all the time. Courtney even made a comment the other day. He's like, "Are you taking a?" I was wearing PJs all day, and I went and took a shower, and I came out wearing a different. I changed PJs, but I came out in a different shirt and PJs on. It's like, did you just take a shower and just put on different PJs? I'm like, yeah, I did. Yes, I did. Don't sue me. You didn't wear pants half the time, so I don't want to hear it. You're Donald Duck it half the fucking time. But anyways, she never listens to this far in the podcast, so I never have to worry about hearing it.
Oh yeah, she really wants to know that you're. God.
She'll never know. Hopefully, she never knows. I'll be a lot of trouble if she likes my luck. She'll listen to the whole podcast this one time, and it's like, did you just tell everybody I'm Donald Ducking it? Anyways, moving on to the news. I just want to mention that. I think it's a really cool thing. And a lot of the money they're going to is going to the hospitals, obviously, help them. They're in a really bad spot right now, too, especially with the COVID-19 going on. So every little dollar helps. So I want to mention that. Really cool. Merch.extra-life.org to go there. But if you want to, sign up for the actual event itself, extra-life.org, and join us in helping raise money for sick kids around the world. But yeah, we'll jump into more of that later on throughout the year. But yeah, pretty badass. Moving on to some news here, finally. Gables.
Yes.
Last of Us 2 and Iron Man VR have been delayed. So it came out, like I said, like for some reason big gaming news wants to drop the day after we record. So I'm going to wake up tomorrow and like something big's going to happen, good or bad. I don't even know anymore, probably bad. And I'm like, fuck. And yeah. So anyways, in a statement that came out that said that they're going to delay them indefinitely, both games. The main one, obviously, is Last of Us 3. Iron Man VR was supposed to come out May 15th. Last of Us Part 2 was supposed to come out on May 29th. The main thing is that they've said the game was on track to be done in time for May 29th release. But with the main issue is, one, we're in a weird time right now, and two, they're having issues with making actual physical copies, and not only making physical copies, but shipping them and getting to places that are open to sell them. Like Liza mentioned here in Iowa, GameStops are closed. I think until the end of the month, as of right now. In a lot of other states, same thing, it's even longer. And Walmart's, Targets, things like that. Like they have other things they need to get in that's more important. Other things need to be made that's more important. So yeah, they've been delayed. And obviously, with what's going on right now, there's a million things that are more important in the world than video games. But in the context of video games, my heart is broken, Gables.
I hear ya.
Like I actually had it pre-ordered already on PSN. They've taken it off completely, which I'm kind of upset about. I get like I guess in Europe there's like a policy about you can't pre-order things if there's not an official date for it, and if they get delayed, like they have to like refund you your money. So I get why they're doing that. Just across the board, just take it off. You can't even like it's on the PSN store anymore. But it's like I kind of wish like the money was just kept on there, because now I'm like I haven't got the money back yet. I'm waiting on it. It said take a few days for everybody to get their money back. But I kind of wish it was just kept on there, because I don't want to be tempted to like spend it and burn it on something else. But I don't know. I mean, you and I both love Last of Us, and we're looking forward to this game. Where are you at on this?
To be perfectly honest with you, I'm not surprised that they had to go through and delay the game. At the same time, it's like, yeah, it sucks, but other than that, it's everything else right now has been put on hold. So whether or not like I have to wait a few months in that regards, I'm not really too upset about it.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm bummed. Really, like I said,
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking, because it's like one of like my favorite games of all time. I think it was like number 2 for my my game of the decade, and I've been looking forward to it. And it just in a time when like I said, obviously more important things going on in the world, but just like in the context in video games, it's like it sucks when you're stuck at home more now than ever, and like it's just like you need gaming, and more now than ever. And it's just like I look at like we did like our world games looking forward to for 2020, and it's just like I look at like Fast and Furious Crossroads, probably not gonna be a good game, but they even said because of the Fast Furious 9 being delayed till next year, that game is probably gonna get delayed too. Last of Us Part 2 been delayed. I didn't realize this Gears Tactic was only supposed to come out on PC at the end of the month. It was supposed to come out like a month afterwards or so on the Xbox One, but now they're saying it's going to be sometime this year. So it's like I look at like Ghost of Tsushima's coming out June 26th. Like it's probably only like they're probably just kind of waiting to see where we're going to be at that point in time. But I wouldn't be surprised in the next 4 to 6 weeks, sometime early May, we're talking about that game being delayed too. And it's like I have that game pre-ordered. I hope it comes out. But it's just like you look at the next few months, it's like it's pretty barren gaming wise, and it's just like that's one of the big reasons I bought RE3. I mean, I enjoyed RE2, like I said, I enjoyed RE2, but it's like I think that was kind of like well, there's nothing to play, so I might as well like get something new to play. Final Fantasy VII, it's tempting me more so because I'm just like looking at like I heard other people talk about this, and I heard it on the podcast, a couple other podcasts. I've heard people mention like Final Fantasy VII might be the last big AAA game to come out this year, or at least for a good chunk of the year. Like it's pretty crazy to think that like right now, but it's like if you would have asked me a month ago, we would have thought none of this was possible, and now here we are, and it's just like you think about it just in the context of gaming, obviously. Like it's crazy to think that like I mean, what the fuck is like the rest of this year gonna look like? Like Cyberpunk, like the CD Projekt Red said today that like as of right now it's on schedule to come out on September 17th. But if this work from home stuff goes on, coronavirus goes on until mid to late summer, that the game's going to have to be delayed. And it's just like, there's been a few other games that have been delayed, obviously. They're going on, like they talk about like the Smash Brothers DLC is getting pushed back because of all this. Not just the first one, but the rest of them. And it's just, I don't know, it's just a weird, crazy time, Gables, that we're in.
Yeah, it's a weird, crazy time, but you know what? If we do have an extended amount of time before we wait for the next big game to release, say after Final Fantasy VII Remake, oh boy, I'll tell you what though, we're going to be seeing a lot of just digital games sell, indie games sell.
Yeah.
Like on the services like either Steam, like the eShop, PSN, Xbox Live. We're going to be seeing a lot more of that, but at the same time, it's like this whole stagnant, like sort of like a barren kind of wasteland for game releases kind of coming up reminds me a lot of like say 15 to 20 years ago, where like a lot of the major releases and stuff and the good games like would be like maybe one chunk of the year, and then all of a sudden like everything else would be kind of a barren wasteland up until then. And basically what it looks like to me, it's like this late spring early summer that we're going to be coming into is going to be sort of similar to how it used to be, where it's like there will be games coming out, but the big major release stuff, we have no clue in regards to when we'll see a next big AAA game.
Yeah.
But
well, it's interesting you say that, because like you look at it, like even like 6-7 years ago that was the case, and it's really only been the last 5 years when like people like learn like, hey, we can release a game in June, July, and it's still going to sell really well.
Yep.
You know, like they used to have like Xbox Summer of Arcade for Xbox, and it's just like they did that because of like 5 weeks you had like really great like indie games that come out.
Right.
It's like that's just because there was nothing to play, and like that's when like indie games come out. And it's like
Exactly.
we've learned like people will buy games when they're there throughout the year. It doesn't have to be, you know, all these March games were delayed because they couldn't make it for the winter time, or they wanted to avoid Call of Duty or something.
Yes, and
It's like
basically, Tyler, let's look at it this way. Over the past year and a half, actually the last couple of years, there have been a lot of great stuff that's released onto the storefronts, like not just digitally, but also like all the biggest releases, say like either from like Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, I mean Persona 5 Royal, like all of these big name games for like either Switch, PS4, Xbox and stuff. But at the same time, now that we have sort of a lull, we are seeing a hell of a lot more bigger discounts in terms of the digital storefront for games that have been out in the market now for at least the past couple of years. That now is the most opportune time for people, if they want to pick up a game in order to try to play something they missed. This is the best opportunity for you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, in case of point, just me talking about what I've been playing this week. It's like I never probably would have played Death Stranding, gone back to it, or Resident Evil 2, or Days Gone, if it wasn't for what's going on right now. Because we would have had other things to play. I probably wouldn't be getting Resident Evil 3 because of what's going on right now. It's just, yeah, I think it'd be a great time. Like I would hope that there's some great digital, like Blood Roots came out like a month ago or so, and that was a really cool game. And like, you know, someone mentioned it, and I can't remember who it was, but it's like we point out like games like Celeste, or what's the game that Jonathan Blow did? The guy who made Braid. What was the game he made a few years ago on PS4 and Xbox? Oh fuck! With like all the puzzles, it's on the tip of my tongue and it's driving me nuts. I'm gonna Google it. The Witness, thank you. But it's like we talk about like those like big like the triple I games as they call it, like the big indie games like God, I'm blanking on shit right now. What's the game that was made after Limbo?
Inside.
Thank you. But like we talk about those big the triple A of the indie world games, or triple I, whatever they want to call them. But like that's kind of where we're at this standpoint. It was like we're the really great ones, the big ones. Like there's like this extra like we always talk about there's the double A games in gaming, and that's kind of gone on the wayside in a little bit. But they're still out there, like the 7/8 of the world. You know, like it feels like more now than ever. Like this generation, those games have been lost. Like they don't happen. It's been like, and that's been a big thing in like movies and stuff. And like Netflix has kind of changed that, and like Hulu streaming has changed that. Where like it was like big movie studios didn't want to have anything to do with it unless it was going to make $1 billion. So those nice middle of the road movies that are going to make, you know, 60, 70 or $100 million, like those kind of went to the wayside for a long time in the aughts. And with Netflix and Hulu, like things like that, they've kind of brought them back in a certain sense. And like I feel like maybe this could be a good like bring back, like you talk about like Last Generation, like that was huge for like in Steam, like that brought, like we never had really indie games before, and that brought them into the world. And like we've seen all these great fantastic games, Castle Crasher, Braid, Limbo.
Oh yeah.
A couple games I played last year, a couple years ago, Forgotten Anne, like a game that like really didn't have a lot of publicity to it, but like I just found one day on the fucking eShop and I bought it and I loved it. And it was one of my top 10 games of 2018. And we've kind of lost that, like Firewatch, things like that. It's like these games that get publicity on IGN, GameSpot, YouTube, like people like they get really good ratings, but like because they're 9 or 10s in the indie world. But it's like maybe we can go back to like finding those nice games that are like it's a $20 game, but it's like a 7 or an 8. You know, like now it's been like, even for me personally, like I'm a guy that loves indie games, but like even I've gone to like this generation where it's like it's an indie game, but it's a 7.5 on like
right,
kind of like it's that kind of that middle of the road kind of game. I'm not even gonna bother playing it unless there's ones like a few games that stick with me, like a SteamWorld Heist or like I said, a Forgotten Hand. But it's like
right.
I feel like this year we can find those games again. And like I love the fact that IGN's like doing, like, since E3 is not happening this year, they're even not even doing the digital event. It's like they're like, hey, we're gonna focus on like doing interviews and like focus on these smaller games. And it's one way. It's a smart way for them to survive, especially during this uncertain time.
Yes.
Especially the next 6 months when we don't know what's going to happen with gaming, and possibly even longer. But I love the fact that, like, hey, like these people that wouldn't have got attention before, like especially on E3, like E3 is great because we love all these like huge games that get announced, like these great games, these like cool stuff, AAA stuff. But those like small titles, like we'll never hear about, kind of thing. And it's like they're gonna put an eye on those kind of games that we might not ever, we wouldn't have seen otherwise. So I'm hoping like fucking like this is their time to like stand up. The next 6 months, 9 months, maybe even 12 months, who knows? Like that's their time to stand up and say, hey,
right.
like this is their time to shine. And I hope that, like, you know, PlayStation at the beginning of this generation, like kind of took that mantle from Xbox with like the like they put a real big focus on indie games, and then when they destroyed Xbox in this generation, they kind of went like, here's all our fucking awesome AAA games, which are amazing. Well, we lost those indie games, and I'm hoping that, like I said, we come back to those. We kind of take a step back. It's like the big guys can't do it, but like these little guys, this is how they work. They work from home. This is how they make games. Like there's only a dozen guys that work on this, guys and gals that work on this game. And most of them work all over the country, or there's only a few at a place at a time. And this is their way of like, they can make put their stamp on the gaming world. And I hope that happens. Like that's my like, you know, best case scenario of all the shit going on gaming wise.
Right.
Like that
and
can happen.
And I'll tell you this right now. It's like in terms of on sale stuff, currently right now in the eShop, since I got my Switch on me and I'm going through and I'm checking out the actual storefront, you have games like Bastion, Transistor,
yes,
Rocket League, Golf Story, Grizz is on sale. You have things like Don't Starve. Like, you basically have like a whole bunch of like all these big name games. Terraria, Katana Zero, like hell, even some obscure and stupid like Night Trap, the whole Sega CD game.
Yeah.
That thing's on sale for like fucking $2.99. I'm almost tempted to get that because of the whole nostalgia shit. But you have Crypt of the Necrodancer, The Messenger. You got all these fantastic indie games. Shovel Knight, Rogue Legacy. My friend Pedro is also on sale. It's like you are basically getting, oh fuck yeah, your Child of Light Ultimate Edition,
yes,
$5. That's
fuck yeah.
$5 on Switch. The thing about it is, even if you don't have a lot of the AAA stuff releasing inside the storefronts, all of the digital stores are having these massive sales for games that are like $15, $20. I mean, gosh, it's astounding, you know? It's like, there's even like random like obscure games, like certain anime games that say like Kill a Kill, it's like 14, and there's like a new release right here, Snaky Bus, which is supposed to be a pretty freaking funny ass like game, right? It's discounted about 20% because it's new, but gosh, I'm still just looking at the stuff. Really, there's like a lot of indie stuff. There's a whole bunch of stuff that anybody, if they're interested in going through and like have had some moderate interest, say like Axiom Verge or Luminous or Ape Out, SteamWorld Heist. I mean, I'm just reading off a whole bunch of big names of games that are fantastic or have gotten a lot of good critical praise. SteamWorld Dig, SteamWorld Quest, like Mutant Mudds, Valkyria Chronicles, the old PS3 classic games, like $10 on the eShop, Fast RMX, Nidhogg 2. I can go on for the next solid 20 minutes, quintessentially, looking at good games that are on sale. But the point being is, it's like, even though it's going to be a bit of a slog, there still is a whole lot of stuff you can go through and delve into.
Yeah. And that's, you know, like, yeah, we're gonna miss out on some good AAA games. You know, they're gonna get delayed out, and who knows? People are talking about like, oh, is Last of Us 2? Maybe they just hold that on to make that a PS5 launch game.
Right.
Horizon 2, assuming that was gonna happen, gets to be a spring game, which would be awesome. But, and it's like, I know, like, you know, Xbox and PlayStation came out and said, hey, we're still releasing this year. I don't know if that's gonna happen. I mean, you would ask me a month ago, E3 was still going to happen. Obviously, that's not happening. So who knows where we're at? Who knows how it's going to go on for? But it's like, I don't know. I mean, who knows when we might get the next big AAA game? But I was like, I would love the fact if like the PS5 and the Xbox Series X came out in March of next year or something, or February or whatever.
Oh my god, yeah, that would be an interesting time, because they're still, even though they're still saying they're on track to release by the end of this year, I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, the best case scenario is like you release them, but you're going to have a small amount. It's going to be hard to fucking find. But who knows what the games are going to be there for? Or the games that you had for it like are going to be like I said, Last of Us Part 2. Games that were ready, but now you're just holding off till November or whatever. So, I don't know. I love it. Like, we've proven with the Switch that consoles can release in springtime and sell extremely well.
Exactly.
So, I mean, and assuming, like, not to be, Debbie Downer here, but it wouldn't surprise me if COVID-19 is a thing this winter, too. It's like everybody's like, oh, once the summertime hits, it's going to go away. Everything's might go back to normal mid to late summer. But it's like, it wouldn't shock me once flu season hit next year. We're still dealing with this issue, and it'll probably be worse if we don't have something we're not prepared for it, or something. We don't have a vaccine in place.
I know. Even with all that regards and stuff, we're just beginning to see like maybe trickle downs of like certain countries actually reducing down like some bits of the COVID stuff. Like some cases are actually starting to decline in places like Italy, like China, in that regard.
South Korea, yeah.
South Korea as well. I know for my state, in Washington State, it's starting to get to that borderline sort of point in terms of like cases and stuff, but it's we're nowhere near out of the woods yet. So even if it lasts throughout the entire summer, I still think, and they're really not too sure whether or not this thing is still going to be around maybe as far as maybe the rest of the year. Maybe it's just something that we will be dealing with, but at the same time, it's like it's still up in the air pretty much.
Yeah. So I don't know. But moving on to our next topic here. Gables.
Have
you seen this PS5 controller?
Yeah, I have.
So this is from the PlayStation blog. I just want to read this off here. We've reached an exciting milestone with PlayStation 5, as we're starting to ship our new controller in its final design to developers who are implementing its unique features into their games. But first, we want everyone in the PlayStation community to get a first look at the DualSense, as we're calling it, instead of DualShock, it's DualSense wireless controller, and hear our vision for how the new controller will captivate more of your senses as you interact with the visual worlds in PS5. The features of DualSense, along with PS5's Tempest 3D audio tech, deliver a new feeling of immersion to players. They're going on a huge thing over here about PS4. Don't care about that. So for the buttons, you'll notice there is no longer. So imagine your C controller now. There's no longer a share button, as we have with the DualShock 4. Don't worry, it's not going away. In fact, we've built upon the success of our industry first share button to bring you the create button. With create, we're once again pioneering new ways for players to create epic gameplay content to share with the world, or just enjoy for yourselves. We'll have more details with this feature as it comes to launch. So there's more to it. They also have a built-in microphone with it as well, and there's a headphone jack you can put into it, so you can listen. You can talk to your friends. You don't have to have the headphones on, and then you can listen to them if you want to through your headphones. But kind of the main thing coming from this is that the fact it's more kind of like sloped in a way at the end on the where you put your hands at, so it looks more like it's kind of looks more like a 360 controller or an Xbox One controller, right. But the analog sticks are aligned and not shifted. I don't know, we've both seen it, and also the light bar is no longer on the back; it's on the sides of the share. Like the middle is still there. I don't know. So the middle button's still, the touchpad's still there. I don't know what we're gonna do with it, but the light is now on the sides of that where the touchpad is. I don't know. What are your overall thoughts on the controller looking at it?
To be perfectly honest with you, the first time I saw the controller, I was kind of taken aback a little bit of it, only not because of like just the design of it more so. It was more or less because of the color scheme didn't really fit what I was thinking about. But at the same time, it's like I do like how curved the controller looks in sort of an appearance. And you are right, where it does kind of look reminiscent of, like, say, like an Xbox One controller. And yeah, you look like you got the same article up that I do.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it on like the Skype thing as well. Let's see. I like the way it's curved because with the Xbox One controller, it definitely has that kind of feel as well. But what's more or less that's different, that I'm kind of interested in seeing is like the way the thing, like the shoulder buttons. The shoulder buttons in of themselves kind of look a little bit more flat in that regards. It looks like it's more like it kind of looks like more like a feeling of comfort or something like that on your like your index fingers and stuff like that. Because I know when it comes to the PS4 controller, there is somewhat of like a pointiness to, like, say, the R2 and the L2 like buttons and stuff like that, and sort of a flat curving inward and stuff for the shoulder buttons in the PS4. With the whole look inside there, it's still kind of a little bit like shapely and stuff, but it's kind of more like it looks like it's more workable in terms of resting your fingers on there without sliding things, But I'm not too happy about the D-pad design, only because it's just the same. It's just the same damn D-pad. There are so many other ways you can go through with adjusting, say, like the D-pad to something that's a little bit more modernized and stuff. To be perfectly honest with you, I know the D-pad really isn't used in regards to some of the games, like for regular, like, say, like movements and stuff, like things were supposed to be like back in the day. But when I look inside of a controller, like the DualSense one, and then I look at some of the other controllers, the higher end controllers that actually do away with that type of D-pad to like more of a flexible thing, so like how the Xbox Elite controller is, the Xbox One Elite controller is and stuff, where it's manageable, you can actually work it out, and it actually feels comfortable. I mean, hell, the controller that Sony put out that was like $25, that was more aimed towards younger gamers and stuff, that had a better D-pad than the regular DualShock 4. And honestly, in terms of I'm playing like a fighting game, or if I'm playing like some other games that really implement the D-pad and stuff, it feels a lot more comfortable in terms of having like sort of like a circular sort of thing for the D-pad, as opposed to, like, say, some of these little notches and stuff for like the typical PlayStation controller, in my personal opinion. And to be perfectly honest with you, I'm kind of hesitant in regards to like the whole the microphone, like the speakers being inside the controller, so that way you can actually talk into the controller and stuff like that. I kind of don't like that, only because it's like, unless you turn off that feature in that controller, anybody can hear what exactly your little thumb movements or whatever the hell you're doing and stuff, like you're eating something or whatever the hell. Let's say you're going to the bathroom and you're playing the controller, all of a sudden you just go through, you start hearing people on the other end.
Yeah. Well, on the plus side, there is a mute button right below the PlayStation logo on there for the mic, so that's something that's nice to have. So you don't have to go like manually turn it off. I'm sure you could, if you want to permanently turn it off, you could. I don't know. There's been like a lot of talk and hubbub about this. I don't have a personal problem with it. Like, I adapt. I mean, maybe this is from a personal standpoint, but I feel like I adapt fairly well, going back and forth through the 360, the Switch, and the PlayStation controller. Like the Switch and the Xbox controller are the same. Actually, I keep saying 360, but I mean Xbox. But I don't know. Like, people are like, "Oh, they should just make it offset like the Xbox does." But it's like, this is their thing. Really, the only thing I don't like about this controller is like the dual colors is a little off-putting a little bit. I'm assuming that means that I wonder if that means the console is going to be like off-color, like a white and black, instead of just being a singular color coming out of launch. But I don't know. The one thing I don't like is the fact that like the X, square, triangle, and circle buttons are no longer colored. They're just white or black, whatever the color of the controller is. That's what they are. And I'm more like, they talk about the share button is no longer the share button; it's a create button. I'm assuming that means more of, it's just like, hey, it's just more of the same thing. But I hope they do a better job of like implementing and like sharing. But also when you go to Twitch, like you and I, when we Twitch, I don't stream very often. But when you stream through the PlayStation 4 for the most part. And the one thing I don't like about The biggest thing I like about it is like when like you go to the home or you start a new game, it turns off your stream and you have to start a whole new stream up again. If you switch to games. So I understand like, hey, like just there's ways to work around like hooking up to your PC. I know we can do that, but just from like it's supposed to be it's a I guess an issue with like ease of use kind of thing. Like this is something a hurdle we have to go over. For making it easier for us to stream, but it'd be nice to have that function to like make it so like I can go to my home screen. You don't have to shut off my stream, or like if a friend logs in or a game downloads or something, there's a notification. Half my screen doesn't blur out. Like I hope like there's a way to work around that. But I don't know. I just don't have I like the controller. It's fine with it. That'd be cool if there was a way to like you can if you wanted to. You can swap the D-pad and the analog stick. Obviously, not going to happen, but I don't know. I'm cool with it. Like I remember there was like a big hubbub about the touchpad they added, and even I was like something like, "Oh, the touchpad, that thing sounds stupid." And it's like, is it a gimmick? Yeah, but admittedly, I think it's not that bad. I kind of like it. Obviously it's something I've gotten used to over the course of 7 years of being primarily a PlayStation gamer, but. For the 7 years before that, I was an Xbox gamer. And for the 20 years before that, I was a fucking, or not 20 years, but 15 years before that, I was a Nintendo gamer. So I'm pretty well adapting the controllers, and I feel like most people would be too. But
to be perfectly honest with you, we're probably not going to have too much of an issue of it when we actually get a chance to have the controller in our hands.
Yeah, I like there's a lot of outrage and a lot of people like a lot of hubbub about this, but I feel like the only thing the biggest thing to me that I don't like is just the colors. Yeah, but I think this is a nunchuck thing, or not nunchuck, Joy-Cons. I was calling them nunchucks. Joy-Cons. This is a Joy-Con thing where it's like, hey, we can just sell a shit ton more of these if we like make them like, hey, we can do a black and gold one, we can do a solid black one, we can do an all white one. Like,
God, I just bought a freaking PS4 controller which is like all purple, pretty much, like purple and black. If they had like something like, say, like a orange and blue, kind of like how they have that DualSense like PS5 controller. I mean, hell, that would be nice.
Yeah, like I have the I have the blue one you can see through. Like that's the main one. I have a gold one, a black one, and the blue one. And I even have the PS4 headset that matches my see-through blue one. So and they did say that the DualShock 4s and all that will work with the PS5, which is awesome because I'll have a
the DualShock 4s will actually work with the PS5.
Yeah, which is great because I just bought that headset last year.
That's fucking good to know.
Yeah. So that pumps because I bought that headset a year and a half ago, and it was $100-some, $150, and then so that not only on top of that I already have multiple controllers on top of that. With it, I have my headset I keep using. Hopefully my Turtle Beach headset I bought.
Oh, hoping my Corsair freaking headset works with that damn PS5 controller.
Yeah, so that's awesome. So I don't know. I just feel like it's being blown out of proportion. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I feel like it's just like it's going to come out and people will complain about it, but after a few weeks, it's gonna be over with.
I do like that it's a USB-C plugin though, because that's a little bit more standard and stuff. Besides the whole randomness of their own specific type of USB stuff that Sony does.
Yeah, and especially with the Xbox Series X controller also still needing batteries, so that's nice.
Oh God, I hate having to change batteries.
Yes, but moving on to our next topic here. Which one do I want to do? You know what? I'm going to go with this one. So Microsoft is announcing that all their events will be digital only through next August 2021. That includes all Xbox events, including E3 next year. I don't know. I don't have too much to say about it. A lot of people say it's overkill. It's not necessary. But I don't know. I feel like it's not the worst. It's kind of a smart move to do because obviously we don't know where we're going to be at. But it also makes it easier for them to plan things in advance. Like we're not looking at like, ooh, now like in this time next year, ooh, are we gonna do E3 live or digital? Like, no, we already planned. Like, it's just they have something in place, and then August of next year they can go back to normal, or maybe they go, hey, when everything is better now, they can always just go back on this and in June still do a regular E3 next year. So. I don't know. I think it's a smart move to announce. It sounds great corporate wise, and this sounds like a smart move. So it sounds like a win-win to me. What about you, Gables?
I'm probably just indifferent about it. I mean, it's really up to them. I mean, they've already went through and they've already went through and just made the decision, hey, we're going to do this digital forefront stuff. I mean, Sony already pulled out of E3 anyway before this whole mess began, so it's like, yeah, it's really not that big of a deal to me. I mean, hell, it's pretty much what the kind of the norm is now, where everyone wants to do their whole Nintendo-esque sort of direct stuff or whatever.
Yeah. So I don't know. I've always been a fan of the Nintendo Direct style, and I would always said I would hope everybody else does it. And so I don't know. Maybe this is the way they'll stick to it, or maybe everybody just realized that Nintendo has mastered the Direct style, and everybody will go back to live. But moving on. So we were mentioning Resident Evil earlier. So a bunch of Resident Evil 4 or Resident Evil 8 news has kind of leaked out. We had some leaks earlier this year about it, but some more stuff has come out. So I have a couple different articles here I'm going to read because some stuff came out and more came out later. It's going to cross over a little bit, but this is an article I found on pushsquare.com. But Capcom is keeping itself busy as PlayStation 5 nears release. Rumors are flying regarding an all-new installment, which is currently in development, although the source's Reset Era poster, Dusk Golem, writing on his Twitter account, given that the so-called insider has several proclamations flying around right now, including Sony's purported production of Silent Hill title, we'd recommend you exercise caution until some of these are proven true. Nevertheless, he claims that a new Resident Evil title has been in development since 2016 and it's currently targeting a 2021 release. Apparently, this is the biggest departure from the series has ever taken, which is bold considering Resident Evil 7 Biohazard shifted the entire perspective of the series to first person. We've seen some speculation alluding to witches and vampires as opposed to zombies, which could be a change. Despite the warnings, Dusk Golem reckons that the game's internal testing has been going well and that it's a high-quality game. It's allegedly been announced. Okay, that's a typo. It'll allegedly be announced really soon, although obviously coronavirus could have an impact on the publisher's plans. And then that was the first article. The second article came out saying that it feels like we're getting a new Resident Evil rumor or leak every other day at the moment. This time around, the website Biohazard Cast is claiming that the 8th installment in Capcom's Resident Evil franchise, Resident Evil 8, will be called Resident Evil 8 Village. And that's a working title at least. And it was due to release on PS5 and PS4 as a cross-gen title in early 2021. Obviously, the coronavirus can affect the timing of the launch. The site onto the claim that a witch will haunt you and stalk the player, similar to that of Mr. X and Nemesis, with the enemy turning into insects when it's defeated. Chris Redfield also plays an important role in the experience with yet another redesign under his belt, while flashbacks supposedly tell a gruesome and questionable past where protagonist Ethan was the main character from Resident Evil 7. The game will take place in Europe and will sport either a Resident Evil 4 style inventory system or a Resident Evil 7 style system. As always, these are rumors taken with a grain of salt. But we've been talking about Resident Evil more lately, and obviously Resident Evil 3 coming out. I don't know, what's your thoughts on Resident Evil 8?
To be perfectly honest, though, I'm not really too sure. I'm honestly really not really too sure much about it right now. I mean, there's supposedly a whole bunch of leaks of Resident Evil 8. I've seen a little bits of the rumors. I've watched a video from Spawn Wave just going through little bits about it and stuff, and it seems interesting. Potentially having maybe Chris Redfield coming back into the fray and stuff, and maybe doing something similar to what maybe Resident Evil 7 was in that regards. But I'm open to seeing what they were going to do to advance more, but at the same time, it's too early for me to really delve and speculate on it.
Yeah, I like what I'm hearing so far, to be honest. But obviously, I'll take all this for a grain of salt. But I kind of hope this is true. I have actually re-downloaded Resident Evil 7 as well. So after I play through Resident Evil 3, I think that's gonna be a game I'm gonna jump into. Maybe it's because I enjoy Resident Evil 2 so much, but who knows how I'll feel after 3.
Well, you're getting back into Resident Evil games, though.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping this sounds cool. Sounds like it could be true. I don't know how it'd be with vampires and stuff, but we've seen crazier shit with the Resident Evil story so far. So, yeah, I don't know. It'd be great to see at least what their plan is, because, I mean, Resident Evil 7 came out in 2017, so we're talking, it's been over 3 years since we've seen from them, so the next installment that wasn't a remake. So let's hope that that's the case. But moving on, I think this will be our last topic of the show. But Saints Row the Third was revealed to have a remaster. It's coming to the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. It's coming out May 22nd. It's gonna be $24 or $40. I don't know where I got 24 from, but I don't know. It's gonna have all the DLC that came from the first game. It's funny though. Like recently, I've been thinking a lot about Saints Row the Third, and like, man, I think this guy saw like Saints Row the fourth was Saints Row 4 was on sale, and I'm like, man, why did they put Saints Row 4 on the new consoles, not 3? Like that's the better one. That's the better version by far for a lot of people, and it was announced out of the blue over the course of the week. I don't know where you're at. I think you played the game back in the day, but I don't know. Is this a game that you see yourself jumping back into?
Oh my god, yes, I did play that game through on the PlayStation 3 back in the day. My god. I'll tell you what, though, I think it's kind of funny how they announce a remaster when they released the version on the Switch that they did, and quintessentially, it's supposedly not that great of a port.
Yes.
But what's kind of hilarious about it is, yeah, I would be interested in replaying Saints Row the Third. I mean, I got the 360 game, but I would love to have all the DLC for that stuff. And man, I've had so many good memories playing Saints Row the Third in regards to just this randomness of story things, like the whole mission where you had to go through and had that tiger in the freaking car and you had to battle the tiger in order to try to get to the place where to drop him off.
Mm-hmm.
Or the fact that you have a one pimp or something like that freaking talks in autotone.
Yeah, oh my god, yes. Or Hulk Hogan or Robert Van Dam were randomly in the game.
Oh yeah, Rob Van Dam was like an announcer, and like Hulk Hogan was like this one crooked like sort of wrestler or something like that, or whatever politician dude that you had to. I think it was like the main villain inside that game. Now I think about it.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like I'm excited to play this game. The one sticking point to me is like it's $40. It's like ooh.
And one of the best features in that game, going up randomly to cut to like people and stuff, and just go through just drop kicking them.
Oh yeah, never mind. You drop kicking them through the window and taking a car. Yeah, like, man, I really want to play this game. I won't lie. Like, the $40 spot is, like, kind of a sticking point with me. I won't lie on that. But it's like when I saw the thing, it's like, everybody's like, it's only 30 frames per second. It's just more lighting. It's a little prettier. But
who cares? The game is good.
Yeah, the game is, like, I haven't played this game since it came out. I didn't realize it came out in 2011.
Yeah,
I didn't realize it was that old. But I think I played it, like, right after it came out, too. So it's been almost 10 years since I played the game. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm probably going to play it, but like we were talking about earlier, it's like not a lot of big shit's coming out. So it's like it's probably going to be a lot of digital games and playing some indie games and shit like that. So this is probably a game I'm going to go back to because by late May, who knows what the fuck is going to be out there to play. So, yeah, I'm hoping if this game does come out that time, that'd be great because I fucking adore that game. And I can't wait to pick it up and play it again. But Gables, anything before we move until we get out of here?
No, not anymore.
Okay, well, that's going to wrap it up for us this week. If you want to hear more from us, check us out on Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and Spotify, and also iTunes. Just go to look up Drunk Nerds, Drunk-Nerds. So and all those places, Drunk Nerds Pod on Twitter, but like on Facebook, we have a page and a group. Like and join us on there. On Twitch, Drunk Nerds Podcast, follow us on there. On also twitch.tv/Colonel Gables. Give him a big follow on there, please.
Yep.
Go on YouTube, give us a big subscribe, thumbs up, leave us a comment. iTunes, do this, give us a 5-star review, comment. We appreciate it, and subscribe. Spotify, follow us on there. Check us out all those places. The more you guys follow, subscribe, like, reviews, whatever you can do to help us, the more likely it is that people can see us. So we really appreciate if you do that for us. But until next time, guys, I was your host. I was Tyler.
And I've been Colonel Gables. So until next time, everyone, stay safe out there, wash your hands, but most importantly of all, thank you for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk-Nerds podcast.
Oh, hey, Gables?
Yeah?
Happy early birthday.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome, buddy. Bye, guys.
See ya.
Excuse me. You to me beers there. Anyways, we're on iTunes now, so go on there, check us out, and if you like us, leave us a review, and we'll even shout you out. And Jack will send you his credit card number.